Why are we so good at envisioning a better future, but we struggle to get started on that path? Doesn't the saying go, if you believe it, you can achieve it? What is the missing link between dreaming of our goals and actually walking the path of getting there? To find out why your dreams don't become reality, check out this video. Hey, I'm Ivana. Welcome to my channel where I talk about how to apply the science of habits to design the life that you want. If you need some help figuring out how to be more actionable with change, you're in the right place. I'm also on Instagram and TikTok if you want to digest this material in different ways, or if you just want to see more of me, you can follow me on there. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like and comment on this video, and let's dive in. We as human beings have the capacity to see a future that hasn't actually happened yet. We can use our imagination to see what we could have or what we could be clear as day. And once we see this vision, we develop a desire to put this into motion. I want financial freedom. I want to be healthier. I want to be less stressed. I think every single one of us has had something like this pop into our head. Most of us don't even realize that there's something missing there. We're usually good at planning and dreaming, but then we can get stuck very quickly. Almost like we don't really have all the tools that we need. We can tell that something is off, but we can't really tell what it is. Our daydreams are still going strong, but somehow reality is not fully getting behind it. What is the matter? Can you do something for me? Yeah? Okay. Can you describe the color blue without using objects that are blue in color? So not something like, it's the color of the sky. Go. It's kind of hard, hey? If you wanted to tell me that it's a particular frequency of visible light, it's a primary color, sure, I'll take it. But chances are that was not the first place where your mind went to. You probably tried going down that path, tried to think of the color blue, then you started thinking about objects that were blue, and then you just got stuck. It's a funny thing, actually. We all know what blue looks like. We can tell it from other colors, but we can't actually describe just blue. It's just something that we understand to be what it is. Blue is blue, it just is. I don't have to understand it in order to use it. The same goes for our goals and dreams. We know what we mean by it. We can see it clear in our heads, but we can't actually describe it properly. And this is where things kind of start to fall apart. So now we're slowly uncovering some things here. So let's break this down a little bit more now, okay? We clump any kind of a future outcome under the term goal. Your goal could be very short term, like my goal is to be there by 6. Or it could be a lot more involving, like my goal is to get a job at the hospital. Or it could be just straight up dreaming, like my goal is to be happy. We may know what we mean by be happy, but it's actually vague AF. We want to be healthier, be successful, be more confident. But what does that actually mean? I mean, seriously. This is where the first hang up is. It's actually just clarifying a few things. There's a couple of different ways that we can describe an endpoint, aka a goal. A goal or an outcome is a concrete description of something measurable, but not something that can be done immediately. So for example, you might say, my goal is to reach 10,000 subscribers. That's concrete. I know exactly how much 10,000 is, understand where I'll be able to find this metric. I go on your channel or whatever platform you have where I can judge or cheer whether or not you're actually reaching this goal. But unless you are superhuman in some way or you know things I don't know, you can't get 10,000 subscribers right this minute. If I give you $100, okay, this channel is small right now, okay, it's all I have is $100 in the budget, so let's $100, okay? Can you produce 10,000 right now? So this right there is a goal or an outcome. When we say something like, I want to go viral or I want to be TikTok famous, this is really vague. Like, when is this by? Is this next month? Is this next 10 years? What exactly does that mean? And at what point are you famous? And who decides that? So when we have something like this would fall more into the area of an aspiration. You aspire to be famous on a social platform, cool. But this statement isn't self-explanatory, nor do I know what action will be taken to get you there. Are you posting every day? What are you posting? And so on. So a goal or an outcome is more concrete and measurable, but not something that can be done immediately. And an aspiration is more vague, and at times can be completely abstract. So definitely not something that could be done immediately either. So what we wind up doing is we set a lot of goals, which actually are aspirations, and because they are very vague, we now know the difference between those terms, we then struggle to make it actionable. We know what we mean. I mean, you can see your daydream very clearly, but we can't actually describe exactly what it is that we want, nor do we know how to get there. If we can't describe it, then we wind up not doing very much with it. Got it? Still on board? Okay. So how do we proceed? What is the missing link to turn this into an actionable step? By attaching a behavior to that aspiration or outcome. A behavior would be something that you can do right now, today. And something like, I will write 10 content ideas on my list. This is a behavior that will get you a little bit closer to the aspiration. I will record 1 video clip per week and post it. This is something that you can do right now if you really, really wanted to. You see what I'm trying to say here? There is a really great exercise that is found in the book Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg, which actually goes over exactly what I'm just talking about. So if you want to follow along, you grab a piece of paper and we can just walk through it all together. This isn't like a mental exercise, definitely write it down. So in the middle of your paper, write down whatever your goal or aspiration is. You now know the difference, it doesn't matter what it is, but just write it down. So it could be something like, let's go with sleep better, okay? So you could be more specific and you could say things like, oh, I want 7 hours of quality sleep. You can circle this idea or put a square around it, whichever one you like. Then surrounding your goal in the middle, you're going to put behaviors all around the square or bubble that you make. You can link those behaviors with a line, like to make it look like a sun if you want. Depending on how big you write, just make sure that it's neat and you can easily see what's going on there. So remember that a behavior is something that you can do today, right now even, and it's something that has to be repeated. So let's say we're going back to my $100. If I gave it to you right now, can you do this? Write as simple as a behavior or as out there as you want. So the direction is to just explore and not hold back. The point is that you want to come up with as many potential ideas as possible so that you have options to choose from. So let's say you had sleep better. You add that to your list. Again, although I understand what you mean, you can't on demand sleep better if that's what you wanted to. You won't be $100 richer. If that was the case, you wouldn't have that on the wish list all this time, right? So this is an aspiration, and at this point, this isn't actual enough. Some of the possible options that you could have had on there would be something like no screen time after 9 p.m., no caffeine past 4, turn the room temperature down before bed, no liquids before bed, no strenuous activity near bedtime, whatever, let me go crazy, right? So you could have added as much as you wanted to. The more behaviors you can think of, the better. That just means that there's just more options for you to try. The thing about brainstorming session is that you don't want to exclude anything. You never know what could work, and the things that you might gravitate towards may actually not work as well or be as easy as you think they would be. So just write down as much actionable stuff as possible. So keep asking yourself, what is something that I can do today or right now? Once you have gone thoroughly through this brainstorm, you can start looking at what behaviors you are excited to try. Which one is calling your name right away and which ones are just like kind of whispering it. Keep in mind one more thing. You have written all kinds of possibilities down on this paper, which is great, but you also have to ask yourself, what is a behavior that I can do right now? One more time. Sure, it would be great to maybe journal 30 to 60 minutes before bed because it's relaxing. It could relieve stress and giving you better sleep. But if you don't journal at all at this time, this is not a realistic behavior for you to start with, at least not to this extent, which is fine. Perhaps something like write down one thing that went well today, or one thing I'm grateful for is a much more doable action for you at this time. You can actually work your way through journaling all the way up to 36 if that's what you find helpful. The goal with this is to give you lots of actionable ideas on what you can start doing to get you where you want to go, but also to meet you where you are today so that you can actually do things that are doable for you. Because it all comes down to what feels good, what's easy to do, otherwise it doesn't stick. So those are things that'll help you actually continue on with behaviors that you would like to do more of. So keep all this in mind. Pick one or two things that you want to try and find a prompt to remind yourself when it's time to do this action. What's a prompt? It's a reminder when it's time for you to do your behavior. This should be something that's consistent for you at the time and that you can link your new behavior to. Let's say you wanted to try like no screen time past 9 p.m. A prompt could be, I will set my alarm at 9 p.m. When it goes off, I will put away my screens and put my phone on do not disturb. Or you can make it a one-time action, like scheduling your do not disturb on your phone for 9 p.m. for every single day. The alarm is your prompt to remind you that what you should be doing at that time. Is all of this necessary? You can try it without it, but the two things that will make a new behavior easier to implement is having a good prompt and making the behavior easy to do. When you don't have these specifics narrowed down and things are too vague, we are left to try to make too many decisions, and something like, I'll try to get to bed at 10 p.m. winds up happening way less often than we actually want. We already have a routine in place, even if it doesn't feel like it or if we don't like it. So in order to learn new things, we have to be a lot more specific. Otherwise, there are too many signals that we're going to struggle to pick up the right ones. Let me know what you thought of this video and how you find ways to make your goals and aspirations more actionable. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And don't forget, you can also find me on Instagram and TikTok. I'll see you next time.